Hey everyone, my name's Arnold, DeSena, realtor with Keller Williams, Greater Columbus. I'm here today to talk to you about mindset. I know today you guys had a big event where you had a panel of people, some of the best minds in our business gathering today to talk about mindset and how we approach some of the problems we may be having in this upcoming year. Katie asked me to talk today about mindset because my mindset's been changed a bit in the last 4 years, and I have a bit of a different approach to how I deal with things. For those of you that don't know me, April 2nd, 2019, I was in a pretty tragic motorcycle accident here in town. The day started off pretty good, had a closing, was lining up a couple more for that week and some listings the following week, so I was feeling pretty good about my day that day, and came home early, jumped on one of my Harleys to go out for what I call wind therapy, and just got about 10 minutes from the house, and a distracted driver coming in my direction turned left of center and hit me head on at 35 miles an hour. I flew up over the hood of her car, traveled down the block about 20, 30 feet, landed on my head, and I broke my neck in 3 places. At that very moment, I became permanently paralyzed from the chest down for the rest of my life. While I was laying on the ground, the first thought I had was that I had to forgive the woman who made the mistake and hit me that day. She didn't intend to do it. She just had a rough day, made a mistake, and there I am. So we fast forward to get me into the hospital at Grant, and they immediately prepped me for what began a week of 9 surgeries. After I came to after the first surgery, I started talking to my wife, Christine, and wanted to know what medications they had me on at that time. My concern was I was going to be put on some medication that would cause an addiction. At that time, we had a major problem in this country with people getting addicted to Oxy. And Oxy was something they had me loaded up on right after the first surgery. So we immediately petitioned the doctors to get me off all pain medications after that first surgery. It's a decision that we made because I did not want to have additional problems with myself. I knew at that point I was destroyed from the chest down with no muscle function. And it was important for me to at least have control over my mind and not have an addiction. I had to make the decision to not allow my daughters and my family to see me physically broken, but I also didn't want them to see me coupled with a cloudy mind or a drug addiction. So the decision was made to not be on any pain meds and to tough it out. From that day forward to this very day, the only pain medication I take really is Tylenol and a cup of coffee. Soon after all of the surgeries and arguing with the doctors to get me off pain medication, we decided to go on another new journey where I flatlined, not once, not twice, but 3 times. 3 times I died, 3 times they brought me right back, propped me back up, so I can keep moving forward. Once they had me stabilized that way, I wasn't done with the fun, and my intestine ruptured and I bled out. We finally got that tackled, and they patched me all up, and I realized I was in a world of hurting with the pain. While still just living off of Tylenol and coffee, I had to figure out another way to survive the pain and keep my brain sharp. One of the tools that I had to take out of my toolbox to mentally cope with the pain that I was in was visualization. I like taking pictures. I love being an amateur photographer. We printed up a few pictures of mine and taped them to the wall. One specific photo was of pine trees in the Hoover Reservoir and the ground covered in snow. I went out there one morning early in January, took these photos, and what we wound up doing is visualizing the day I took those pictures. So I'd sit in front of the picture and I would walk myself through walking through the woods, the sound of the snow crunching under my boots, the settings on my camera, the kneeling down, and I would sit there for 2 or 3 hours every day, visualizing myself in that photo to get through the pain. And sometimes it would work quicker than others, but most times it took about 3 hours every day. That's how I managed to cope without pain pills. I'd like to think my mind's intact. I think my wife may debate that, but we're still here smiling. When it comes to mindset, my approach is different than yours. We all in sales were trained to believe that first thing in the morning you have to go kiss that frog. You know, do the thing that you really don't want to do right away to get it out of the way so you can get on with the productive part of your day. In the morning when I wake up, my wife hands me the remote control to my bed, and I raise the bed up so that I'm in a seated position, and she's kind enough to bring me coffee. At the foot of my bed on the wall in front of me, we have a full-length mirror. Every morning I look in that mirror and I realize, holy crap, I'm paralyzed. Every day I'm shocked that I'm a paralyzed person from the hair down. And I have to address that first thing every morning. So basically, the frog I have to kiss really is me. I have to deal with me right away. Otherwise, the day's going to go south quickly. I look at myself and I realize I have to make adjustments. It takes 3 hours to get me from waking up out of bed, in bed, to out of the bedroom. It takes typically 2 people to get me up, get me dressed, showered, and ready to roll. But 3 hours later, I come out into the kitchen, and that's when all holy hell breaks loose, because then I get to start acting like I'm doing something with my day. When it came to the decision making of getting the day going, I have to remind myself of what my goal is. And then I have to ask myself, why do I want to achieve that? And then the next question is, what will happen to me if I don't achieve that goal today? So for me, it's first just getting out of bed, and then get functioning. But originally, the why was I did not want my daughters and my family to live with me, not only physically broken, but emotionally and mentally broken. 95% of the people in my position in life wind up addicted to alcohol or drugs to help them cope. And my family did not deserve to live with me, not only physically broken where they have to take care of me, but mentally and emotionally broken. And it's easy to sit in a chair all day popping pills and drinking Jack and just kind of numbing yourself to the situation. So I decided my why was to prove to my family that I could still be a productive part of this family and a leader of the family. Then I asked myself, what happens if I don't push myself every day? Well, I had to teach myself how to eat with my left hand, how to shave with my left hand, how to do everything left-handed. If I didn't learn how to do those things, I'd be stuck. If someone had to leave the house and they weren't here to feed me, I wouldn't eat. So I have to deal with things on a level that most people don't. Every morning I start the day realizing that the obstacle is the way. I have to realize I am the problem, and I have to deal with me first. In dealing with me, I have to tackle real problems. In coping with all of this, I learned a Latin phrase called Amor fati. Amor fati simply means love of one's fate. Now, I don't necessarily have to love the condition that I'm in, but I do have to embrace it. It's real. I am never not going to be paralyzed from the chest down. This is it for the rest of my life. But I've decided to embrace my fate. So how do I do that? I recognize that this is real. And I realized that I can go out into this world and still accomplish things that I never thought I could. And I embrace this by just dealing with it forward, straight on, and then tackling any obstacles that come along the way. Now, there are going to be obstacles in your life and in your day, and I hope you never have the obstacles that I have. But I'm here to tell you that any battle that I've taken on in life, especially since post-injury, I've won that battle in my mind before I even set an action plan in place to actually do something about it. So I recognize I am the obstacle. So for me in life, the obstacle is the way. I go after the problem first in my mind, and then physically put together a plan and achieve it, make it happen. Of course, I have help along the way with my wife and family, making sure I don't back down. I've learned that there's nothing special about me. I've learned that we are all unaware of just how strong we are. When we're all faced with a certain set of circumstances, it can be intimidating. But you don't realize how strong you are until you put yourself in action and try and deal with your situation. I've learned that I'm far more powerful mentally than I ever was. I've learned that I'm far more sensitive to situations, become more cerebral in life about how I look at things. And I've accomplished far more than any doctor said I would, just because I show up and I try. You know, the definition of mindset really is the attitude you have towards the situation. I've tried to keep a very positive attitude towards everything I've taken on. There are days I tell my wife, I can't do this. And she'll humor me and laugh and say, okay, you don't have a choice, so suck it up and keep going. And that's what we do. I think that if you set your mind to something, you can achieve it, but you need a reason why, and you need to ask yourself, what if I don't achieve this goal? How will that impact my life? With those two things behind your goal, chances are very good you're going to be able to take on anything in life that you want. I hope you all have a great rest of the afternoon at this function. I really loved having a chance to talk with you today. And I wish you all the very best, and I hope I get to see you sometime soon. See ya.